Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivachakachaya Sutta Sadashi Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 14, Text 3, Disappearance of Lord Krishna. Kalasya chakatim rojam Vipaya startatarmina Papiya sininam vartam Krodha lobhan vitatmanam Kalasya chakatim rojam Vipaya startatarmina Papiya sininam vartam Krodha lobhan vitatmanam. Chant. Kalasya chakatim rojam Viparya satutarminaha Papiya sininam vartam Kodalobanitatmanam Chakatim rojam Viparya satutarminaha Papiya sininam vartam Kodalobanitatmanam Asya chakatim rojam Viparya startatarmina Papiya sininam vartam Kodalobanitatmanam Kalasya chakatim rojam Viparya startatarmina Papiya sininam vartam Kodalobanitatmanam Kalasya chakatim rojam Startatarmina Papiya sininam vartam Kodalobanitatmanam Kalasya chakatim rojam Viparya startatarmina Papiya sininam vartam Kodalobanitatmanam. Ladies. Kalasya chakatim rojam Viparya startatarmina Papiya sininam vartam Kodalobanitatmanam Kalasya chakatim rojam Viparya startatarmina Papiya sininam vartam Koralo Vanitatmanam Kalasya of eternal time. Cha also. Gatim direction. Raujam fearful. Viparyasta reversed. Ritu seasonal. Tamina regularities. Papiyasim sinful. Rinam of the human being. Vartam means of livelihood. Krodha anger. Lobha greed. Anidikta falsehood. Atmanam of the people. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. He saw that the direction of eternal time had changed, and this was very fearful. There were disruptions in the seasonal regularities. The people in general had become very greedy, angry, and deceitful, and he saw they were adopting foul means of livelihood. Purport. When civilization is disconnected from the loving relation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, symptoms like changes of seasonal regulations, foul means of livelihood, greed, anger, and fraudulence become rampant. The change of seasonal regulations refers to one season's atmosphere being manifest in another season. For example, the rainy seasons being transferred to autumn, or fructification of fruits and flowers from one season in another season. A godless man is invariably greedy, angry, and fraudulent. Such a man can earn his livelihood by any means, black or white. During the reign of Maharaj Yudhisthira, all the above symptoms were conspicuous by their absence. But Maharaj Yudhisthira was astonished to experience even a slight change in the godly atmosphere of his kingdom, and at once he suspected the disappearance of the Lord. Foul means of livelihood implies deviation from one's occupational duty. There are prescribed duties for everyone, such as the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, but anyone who deviates from his prescribed duty and declares another's duty to be his own is following a foul and improper duty. A man becomes too greedy for wealth and power when he has no higher objective in life and when he thinks this earthly life of a few years is all in all. Ignorance is the cause for all these anomalies in human society, and to remove this ignorance, especially in this age of degradation, the powerful sun is there to distribute light in the shape of Srimad Bhagavatam. Mukam karati vachalam bhangam lange tekirim yakipam tamam vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. And so we have the light of Srimad Bhagavatam, we have the light of the deities, we have the light of the holy name in this Kali Yuga to keep us company. Krishna Surjasam Maya Hoy Andakar. Ja Krishna Taha Nahi Maya Adhikar. Krishna is like the sun and Maya is like darkness. Wherever there is Krishna, there cannot be the darkness of Maya. So Srila Prabhupada gave the example. If you go on an airplane in the morning and you travel west, and you keep on traveling, you won't see the sunset. So in the same way, if we keep ourselves in Krishna consciousness and we keep going, then we won't see Maya. If we turn away from Krishna, then we see the darkness. Krishna is like the sun and Maya is like the shadow. So if we turn away from Krishna, we live in the shadow. I was just reading in Srimad Bhagavatam the other day, 4th canto, that the effulgence of Krishna is coming from his lotus feet. And the effulgence comes to us into our heart and dissipates the darkness of ignorance. So this is our fortune, our good fortune. We have Gaur Nitai, we have their lotus feet. We worship Rukmini Dwarkadish and Lord Jagannath. And if we remember their lotus feet, then the darkness of our heart will go away. So now the age of Kali has begun. It actually began the day, the hour, and the minute that Krishna left this planet. Yudhisthira was shocked because In his kingdom, the seasons were regulated. People were happy. They were pious. If we go back to the 10th chapter of this canto, verse 5, it's described the rivers, the oceans, the hills, the mountains, the forests, the creepers, and active drugs in every season pay their tax quota to the king in profusion. And there's a purport there that I'd like to share with you. The rivers, oceans, forests, hills, drugs, etc. are not creations of man. They are all creations of the Supreme Lord. And the living being is allowed to make use of the property of the Lord for the service of the Lord. Today's slogan is that everything is for the people, and therefore the government is for the people and by the people. But to produce a new species of humanity at the present moment on the basis of philosophy and religion, justice and peace, God consciousness, and perfection of human life, in short, the ideology of godly communism, the world has to again follow in the footsteps of kings like Maharaj Yudhisthira or Parikshit. There is enough of everything by the will of the Lord, and we can make proper use of things to live comfortably without enmity between man and man, or man and animal, or man and nature. So, how do we know that Kali Yuga is here? The seasons are irregular. When I was in Ireland, you would get 4 seasons in one day. And I was there, I witnessed that. It was for 15 minutes sun, 15 minutes rain, the whole day. It was like that. 15 minutes rain, 15 minutes sun. And the people there said, don't worry. If you don't like the weather, after 5 minutes it'll change. So you don't have to worry if you don't like the weather in Ireland. So there is disruption in the seasons. And there is, here it says, another symptom that Kali Yuga is here. There's foul means of livelihood, deviation from one's occupational duty. So there's different kinds of occupational duty, different kinds of varnashram. There's Daiva varnashram, where we do our occupational duty in order to please Krishna. And then there's the Asuric varnashram, where everything is based on birth. And so when I was living in, of course I still live in India, but many years ago I used to drive a moped. And I used to go and get my moped serviced. And the person who was servicing my moped was a Brahmin. And he was covered from head to foot with grease and oil, and people were calling him Panditji. And I was shocked. I said, well, he's not exactly doing his duty as a Brahmin, but that's how it is. That's how it is now. The degradation of varnashram, this is a symptom that Kali Yuga has begun. So the purpose of varnashram was Sangsiddhir Haritoshanam, to please Lord Krishna by your occupational duty. So in this age of Kali, the symptoms of the threefold miseries are much more agitated, much more in force than when King Yudhisthira was king. And so sometimes as devotees, we see a gap between our knowledge and our experience, or we know the philosophy, but it's hard to realize it. Sometimes we feel like that. We know we're not the body's different, but still we suffer. And so when Srila Prabhupada was here, one of his disciples was telling, I feel sometimes my body is affected by the modes of nature. Prabhupada said, no, you are not experiencing. Your body is experiencing. You are feeling cold due to the body. You are not feeling cold. The devotee said, but I think I'm feeling cold. And Prabhupada said, you are thinking. That is illusion. So the devotee said, I should rise above that. And Prabhupada said, yes, but not artificially. You have to gradually rise to that platform. So when you're feverish, it is not your real condition. Actually, you're healthy by nature, but the fever has come. So when the fever comes, you're thinking, oh, I'm feverish. But this condition will not stay. You'll become healthy. So we should not be disturbed by the feverish condition. Go on with our duty. So, tam stitiksha sabhardata. And Prabhupada said the first symptom of a saintly person is to tolerate. One time Srila Prabhupada was very sick with fever and diarrhea for 3 days. And after that, his servant asked him the question, does a pure devotee suffer? And Srila Prabhupada said, no, it was a lover's bite. So he's a lover's bite. He felt like it was Krishna loving him, biting him when he was sick. He saw the hand of Krishna in everything. So 3 types of disturbances are coming to us now in Kali Yuga: Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik, Adi Atmik, threefold miseries. There is a verse in Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 15th chapter, verse 24, which shows how we can counteract these threefold miseries. So I'd like to share that with you today. First of all, Adi Bhautik, miseries due to other living entities. By good behavior and freedom from envy, one should counteract sufferings due to other living entities. Now what about Adi Daivik? That is from the demigods or from the weather or from natural disturbances. By meditation in trance, one should counteract sufferings due to providence or natural causes. So what about Adhyatmik, our own mind, our own body? By practicing Hatha Yoga, Pranayama, and so forth, one should counteract sufferings due to the body and mind. So let's go a little bit more into these different ways to counteract the threefold miseries. Adi Daivik is the natural disturbances. Meditation in trance. Of course, we meditate on the holy name of Krishna, we chant Hare Krishna, we serve Krishna. And one example is His Holiness Indradumna Swami. One time he was on an airplane, and the airplane was in trouble. Every time they tried to land, there was a huge gust of wind, and the airplane would shake, and the airplane could not land. So when this was happening, as soon as the plane would shake, Maharaj was going, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna. And the Christians were going, Jesus, Jesus. And the Muslims were going, Allah, Allah. But right next to Maharaj, there was a scientist. And he said to Maharaj, Swamiji, I do not believe in these things. So the plane went down again for landing and started shaking. And the scientist started getting really sick. And he looked at Maharaj. And he said to Maharaj, what is it that you are saying? And Maharaj said, Hare Krishna. No, the whole thing, the whole thing. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So he taught the scientist the mantra. The pilot said, okay, we're going to try one more time. If it doesn't work, we'll go back to where we came from. So the plane went down. It was shaking. Everyone was chanting. And the plane landed safely, and the scientist was also chanting. And so Maharaj asked him, so now do you believe? And the scientist said, maybe. So Maharaj said, here's my card. If you have any questions, you can contact me. So yes, it works. Meditation and trance, chanting Hare Krishna. There's another example in the year 2013. There was up in the Himalayas at Kedarnath, the place of Lord Shiva, there was an avalanche and destruction. Actually, what happened was the government decided to move Parvati's temple above Lord Shiva's temple. So the night before they moved, Parvati came to the Pujari in a dream and said, tell them not to move me. But they didn't listen, and they moved Parvati's temple above Lord Shiva's. And as soon after that, there was a huge avalanche, rocks were falling, everything was destroyed in Kedarnath except the temple. One big rock fell behind it and protected the temple. But on both sides, all the restaurants, all the shops were finished. And during this whole devastation, there was one sadhu who was a devotee of Lord Shiva. And he was meditating in trance, just standing in front of the temple of Lord Shiva and meditating on Lord Shiva. And he wasn't disturbed by the whole avalanche. And afterwards, all the roads were destroyed. And there were like thousands stranded up there because it was the time for pilgrimage in the summer. And so they were sending helicopters up there to evacuate everyone. And it came time for the sadhu. They said, you can go in the helicopter now. He said, no, I don't need a helicopter. I will walk. And so he was not disturbed by the whole devastation. Meditation in trance will save you from the misery of Adidaivik, of the demigods. Adibautic, miseries due to other living beings, good behavior, and freedom from envy. There is a verse in Bhagavatam that explains if someone is your junior, you should do seva. If someone is your senior, you should do seva. If someone is your equal, you should make friendship. And someone is your junior, you should be merciful. You should give daya. In the material world, it's the opposite. If someone is above you, you want to bring them down. When Srila Prabhupada was in Japan printing Krishna book, he went to Dainapan, and he met with the executives of the printing company. So one executive he met, and he asked this Japanese executive, what is your goal in life? And the executive showed a bunch of calling cards, and his card was on the bottom. He took it from the bottom and put it on the top. This is my goal. I want to be on top. So this is the material world. Everyone wants to be on top, and that means you push others down. In the spiritual world, everyone is servant of the servant. They want to bring others up. But sometimes in our movement, when Prabhupada was here, there were some problems. One devotee wrote a letter to Prabhupada and said, you know, devotees are so impersonal. I don't feel good here. And so Prabhupada wrote back and said, we should not expect anywhere there is utopia. Rather, that is impersonalism. People should not expect, even in the Krishna conscious society, there will be utopia, because devotees are persons, so there will always be some lacking. But the difference is they're lacking because they've given up everything to serve Krishna. Their lackings have become transcendental. And so when I arrived in India in 1972, it was Juhu Bombay. The devotees were performing great austerities. Fortunately, I was only there for 2 weeks, but it was very, really austere. We had, the ladies' ashram was on the roof of the building, and it was summer. And the men had a hut, and that hut was everything for the devotees. And I remember my first prasadam in the hut, and I was watching the rats going across the rafters, and I was hoping the rat wouldn't fall in my plate. And he fell, but not in someone else's plate, so I was really happy. But I shouldn't have been. But anyway, it was it was very austere. Drinking water was in a clay pot, and you would have to open the top, and all these bugs would fly out from your drinking water. That was our drinking water. So we were sick. It was very austere. So Prabhupada used to go on morning walk with one Dr. Patel. So Dr. Patel was compassionate for the devotees. He went out begging, and he got cotton, he got mattresses, he got pillows, he got blankets, mosquito nets, and he donated to the devotees. And he was very happy about that. The problem was that after a few years, everything went missing. They lost their mosquito nets, they lost their pillows, they lost their mattresses. And Dr. Patel was really upset with the devotees. And Prabhupada said, you know, these devotees, they don't care if they have to sleep on the floor. They don't care if they get disease. They don't have proper facilities. That liberation you so much desire, they already have. Because Dr. Patel wanted mukti. But Prabhupada said, these devotees, they have it already. Of course, we should take care of the things. It's not like we should let the things go to rot. But in those days, it was really difficult to take care of things in that austere condition. And people would steal things. And there was no, in fact, the day I arrived, the deities were staying in a tent. And the night I arrived, Krishna's flute and the crowns were stolen that night from the deities. So how can you keep anything? You know, it's like impossible. Even the deities couldn't keep their things. So that was, adibotic miseries we have to try to tolerate also. And adhyatmic miseries due to the body and mind. Hatha yoga and pranayama. Now there's a purport, many purports. Prabhupada says, as far as pranayama is concerned, chanting of the holy name of the Lord and dancing in ecstasy are also considered pranayama. So how can this chanting and dancing free us from the miseries due to body and mind? There's one example which I can give you. There was a Vaishnavi retreat in Nepal a couple of years ago. And the devotees were dancing and chanting in evening kirtan, so much so that they forgot about prasadam. But one devotee didn't forget. And she came up and she was saying, you know, at 7:30, where's prasad? She was trying to talk to, but nobody would talk to her. They were all chanting and dancing. So she came back at 8:30. You know, it's 8:30 now. I'm hungry. Nobody listened. They were still chanting and dancing. She came back at 9:30. Prasad, very hungry. Nobody listened, so she decided, okay, I'll just join them. Then she forgot about prasad too. And finally at 10:15 they stopped the kirtan and everybody was ready for prasad. But that's one example how you can forget about your body and mind when you're chanting and dancing. So this is adhyatmic miseries. Bhagavad Gita also tells us how we can be free from adhyatmic miseries. In chapter 6, verse 17. I'm in chapter 5. Where's chapter? Here we go. Yukta hara viharasya yukta chestasya karmashu yukta sapnavabodhasya yoga bhavati dukkha. He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. And so, if we want to be free of miseries, then we have to take shelter of the holy name. We have to be regulated. Prabhupada has said there are 3 causes of disease: overeating, anxiety, and uncleanliness. And so, next time you get sick, see if one of these 3 things is the cause of your disease. So the attitude of the devotee, tatenu kampam susumekshamanam, that hope against hope for the mercy of the Lord to be bestowed on him, bhujana evatma kritam vipakam, and also tolerating our reactions to our past misdeeds. Hridvagva purbir vidadan namaste, serve with body, mind, and words, engage in devotional service. Jiveta yomukti pade sadayabak. So, but still it's hard. And one of my godbrothers, Bhagwat, he talked to Prabhupada. He said, I'm confused because throughout your books and in your lectures you say when you become a devotee, you're on the transcendental platform. But at the same time you talk about being affected by the modes of nature. So, although I'm a devotee, I'm practicing the principles, experiencing a certain amount of pleasure, at the same time I feel affected by the modes. How is it I can be on the transcendental platform and still be affected? Prabhupada said it's just like being on a boat. When you're on the boat, no one can say, you're not on the boat. You're on the boat. But sometimes big waves will come and rock the boat, so your position on the boat may not be steady. Those waves are the modes of nature, and the boat is the transcendental platform. You're on the transcendental platform, but sometimes the waves of the modes rock the boat and your position is not steady. So how will you become steady? You learn from the spiritual master, who is the captain of the boat, how to steer the boat. So the end of the purport described that not only it's the holy name, it's Srimad Bhagavatam that has arrived like the sun to light up the darkness. So in the beginning, Nigamaka Pataror Galitam Phalam, that it's the desire tree. The Vedas are the desire tree and Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit. So then, Pibata Bhagavatam Rasam Alayam, we should drink Srimad Bhagavatam. So how is it? It's a fruit and it's also juice because it's called rasa. Rasa is juice. Why is it rasa? Because it's such a wonderful fruit. It has no seed and no skin. It's all juice. And that's how the fruits are in the spiritual world. So we have one of the fruits from the spiritual world here with us. Today we can drink it, drink the juice. Guru Das once asked Prabhupada, what are the desire trees in Goloka like? And Prabhupada said, the fruits have no seed, no skin, and when you finish eating a fruit and the sweet taste is still in your mouth, another fruit appears in your hand, if you so desire, again and again until you're completely satisfied. So Bhagavatam is like that. We can relish it. Relish one part, another part will come for us to relish. So by submissively hearing Bhagavatam, then we can actually become free from all miseries. And it will help us to live in this difficult age of Kali Yuga. So two things, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya and Kirtanaya Sadahari, the two go together. So I'll stop here. Any questions or comments? Yes, there's a comment here, or question, or something.
Hare Krishna. So, I have a question. It's concerning the more pure state that we become. Is it easier to relish the Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita?
Okay. Yes, it's described that now when we try to chant Hare Krishna, our mind goes away and we don't know how does it go away into these nonsense thoughts, and then we have to bring it back. But when you come to the higher levels, like ruchi, taste, when you come to the higher levels, then your mind, somehow it goes to Krishna. You think, oh, how did I think of Krishna? It just goes that way instead of going to Maya. And so then it's easier. Because everything, every moment of the day, you're feeling some pleasure in remembering Krishna somehow or other. You try to remember Krishna.
Jai, thank you.
Yeah, any other question? Yes. Oh, okay. Next Monday and Wednesday, the 8th and 10th, I'll give a seminar on the full overview of the full Bhagavatam. So Bhakti Vaibhav is on Monday, and Bhaktivedanta course on Wednesday, in one class each. Title is 7 Days to Live. This was Parikshit. He had 7 days to live, so we will find out what he heard in those 7 days in 2 classes. And it is. I have a book also, Bhagavatam at a Glance. And yeah, it's on next Monday and Wednesday from 6 to 7:30 or 8. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Jai, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Yeah, the book is coming. Yeah, Chaturika has the books, okay. So I'll have them on Monday.
Okay.